Hello. Today I will be bringing you the Khabarovsk, or well, the Khabarovsk, since in Russian if it's written KH, you're not supposed to pronounce the K, sorry about that, all my Russian viewers, but I'm sure all of you know which ship I mean. This game is pretty nasty. Not only is there an enemy Taiho, but there is also 5 enemy DDs. 4 Shimas, all of which are in a division with each other, 2 two-man divisions. So honestly, fighting multiple enemy DDs on a map like this isn't that optimal for a Kaba, especially when they are all able to outspot you. Of course, if the enemy DDs were dumb enough to always shoot you, life would be easy, but if they simply sit back and spot you and ambush you, it gets quite annoying. The reason for this commentary is, of course, the recent announcement of the upcoming split of the line, and as I've been allowed to test the upcoming new Kaba called the Nahodka. It's basically exactly the same as the current Khabarovsk. The only difference is that you are able to slot heal instead of smoke. So you're able to mount 4 heals instead of the 4 smokes now. And I've been testing that quite a bit. I've been playing with it a lot, trying to see just how it changes and how it impacts the gameplay of the Khabarovsk. Now, the heal does have its upside. Being able to regain so much health means you can have an effective HP pool up to 40k of HP, which is of course very significant. I mean, it's almost doubling your effective HP. That's very important and very significant. However, not having any smoke does have some pretty massive drawbacks. First of all, you're unable to disengage whenever you need to. If you get ambushed, if you get spotted at close range with something like a Zhao spotting you, or if you see a carrier that's coming towards you and you're not really in a good position to dodge, not being able to smoke up is pretty annoying. And of course, if you happen to be fighting multiple people and you really need to disengage, well, if you don't have the smoke, your only option is just to flee. Now, that's of course the downsides. That's of course some of the downsides. Oh, am I going to tactically around here? Yes, and of course, if someone dastardly places an island right in front of you, goddammit VG, why did you do this to me? Not having any smoke can of course be extremely crippling. However, with smoke you can be a potato and still get away with it, which is quite nice. Of course, there are weaknesses to the smoke. Some of them include when you park in your smokes, well, you're gonna get torped from every direction, especially since I'm fighting 4 Shimas, so any sort of sitting in the smoke with a big clumsy DD like the Kaba becomes extremely risky, as you can get torped from every angle. There's also of course the limited visibility that it grants you, meaning you can get ambushed by radar cruisers quite easily. In fact, when I ended up facing multiple radar cruisers on my Kaba with heal, I actually quite enjoyed playing it because, well, they never really got to use their radar or anything, because I was spotted all the time, but I was moving at full speed, I was dodging and just having the time of my life, and I didn't care if I was spotted or radared or whatever, since I'm spotted anyway. So, not entirely without downsides. Of course, if you do decide to slot the heal on the Kaba though, you are going for a very selfish spec. The smoke of course can be used not just for yourself, but also for teammates. A teammate is set on fire, he doesn't have repair, or he's being focused very hard, he's gotten hit by an unlucky torp and flooding, he needed to use his repair, now he's being HE spammed. Like, you can bail teammates out. And you can even not just bail teammates out, you can put some really nasty smokes down that allow your teammates to shoot, example, cruisers to be much more effective than they usually would. So there are a lot of selfish aspects to going for the heal, because the heal will obviously only benefit you. But on the other hand, if you do run the heal, you are able to tank more, and you actually can take a pretty surprising amount of damage and focus in your Haba. In fact, I will link, Jingles recently covered one of my games in the Nahodka, which is basically the Khabarovsk, but I'm running it with the heal, and I'm tanking millions worth of damage, because so many people try to shoot me, and so many people try to kill me, and because you're constantly moving around, constantly dodging, you are this constant focus point for the enemy team, and they throw so much ammunition your way which could be shot at your teammates. So calling it completely selfish is wrong, because there is that aspect of attracting attention that comes with the health build, but I must say it's less team play oriented than the smoke is. Of course, here's one situation though which causes Russian DDs to suffer immensely. That is of course the fact that there is a cyclone about to strike. In 1 minute and 20 seconds the cyclone will start. It takes a couple more minutes before it becomes active and so forth. But that is of course a massive issue for any German DD. The reason why it's an issue is because it limits your visibility to 8 km, and of course in a Kaba you in general want to stay further than 8 km away to make yourself hard to hit. Your spotting range with the usual Khabarovsk build that I recommend is 8.7, I think. So you're gonna get spotted the second you see someone else, you're gonna get spotted as well. And that's of course extremely unfortunate for the Kaba, because if you run into ZA or whatever, pretty much any cruiser or battleship, you're gonna be in a world of pain. So the cyclone is a massive problem. Now the smoke kind of helps alleviate that, because you can use your team as to help you scout, or planes to help you scout, and then you can smoke up and you can still deal damage while in a cyclone. But with the heal, of course, you are very, very vulnerable and quite crippled, and you pretty much have to rely on other people to smoke you up. And I did have a cyclone game that I played with heal, and it was insanely frustrating. Cyclones are already extremely nasty for Russian DDs, especially high tier ones, but when you don't even have a smoke to hide yourself, holy crap. It was one of the most unfun experiences I've ever had in the Khabarovsk, and this is a ship I greatly enjoy playing. So that's a huge weakness that must be taken into account. This poor Montana. Oh wait, he had repair. Okay, he's using his damage cons. I've moved back to the Friedrich der Große. We're actually losing this game. Well, I mean, we have the cap advantage thanks to our aggression, but we've also lost 2 of our DDs already, which is less good. We are getting, well, the Hindenburg died, that's good, and we are getting something back, it seems. Trying to get some fires going on this Friedrich der Große, maybe finish him off. Smoke is fading. This Montana has repaired by now, of course. I switched target. If you didn't notice there, whenever I got 2 battleships to shoot at like this in the Kaba, I shoot at one, and if he starts repairing, I shoot at the other. Because you don't want to be wasting HE shells at a target that will repair your fires anyway. So while he's used his repair, you shoot someone else, and so forth. Shima picks a fight trying to save, I guess, this Friedrich der Große. That's of course never recommended, but I realize now why he does it, because there's another Shima, they were of course in a division, so there's double Shimas attacking me and the carrier is dropping. And here I make a tactical mistake. The biggest mistake I make here is, well, first of all, when you are dropped by carrier like this, you should turn away from the torps. This is in fact the only DD you should be doing it in, and the reason why you should do it in the Kaba is because you're so damn fast that you can actually outrun the enemy torps. So you should be turning away, whereas in pretty much every other DD that's not Russian, you should be turning into the torps, because that makes them easier to dodge. So I make a tactical mistake there, and because I used my repair earlier to get my rudder working, since I thought I could make the turn, I'm now forced to suffer quite a significant amount of flooding damage. I think like 2,000 or 3,000 worth of damage. So in this situation again, when I'm taking a lot of light damage, a lot of fire damage, a lot of flooding damage, having the heal would be amazing. Being able to heal up from my 4.5k health to being able to heal up to, let's say, 7 or maybe even 8k, that would be fantastic. So yes, the heal certainly does have its place, and I actually quite like the addition, because when they announced that they were rebalancing the Kaba, you see, this is how I should have done it. Just turn slightly away and just speed boost away and easily dodge them, not try to turn into them. It was just bad play and I got punished heavily. But I'm okay with that. I'm always okay with being punished for bad play. And honestly, people shouldn't get... The one thing people shouldn't get frustrated for is when they get punished for bad play. It teaches you things, and that's important. I made a mistake, I got punished for making the mistake, and that's perfectly okay. These 2 Shimas are opening up on me again, and considering I'm so very low on HP, and I'm being torped, and the Montana is about to pop up, so I drop blind torps in the way the Montana is coming. I'm still being focused by the Shima. Oh, and I have to dodge the torps now. Yeah, I think I'm going to be forced to smoke up since the Montana is going to pop up from behind the island, and my engine broke and I'm grounded because I had to dodge the torps. So this is like kind of this nightmare scenario. Once again, if I had heal here, I would probably be dead, because Montana popping around the corner could just delete me. but now thanks to the smoke I'm able to disappear from the vision. I was forced to ground to dodge the torpedoes. It was just like this combination of all these nasty things at once. So I keep switching between, wow, having smoke is so great, to wow, having heal is so great. Ultimately, I think it's a great addition to the ship. It's not overpowered by any means. In fact, having to give up the smoke for it is a huge sacrifice, just a massive sacrifice. So their way of adding something to the Kaba gameplay is pretty fantastic. Now here, when I'm struggling here for my life, I get pretty frustrated when I see a full HP Tirpitz, and I assume the Montana, who's hiding even further back, is also full HP. So I say, fucking Montana, push up, because I'm so annoyed. And then later on, when I actually turn around and look at that Montana, well, let's see if I can actually survive this first. Oh god. Okay, thank you. The Tirpitz does delete him. And then I look at the Montana and I realized the Montana has actually taken a lot of damage and he's been playing aggressive. He's just backed off the heal. So I apologize to him. It's more or less this Tirpitz that's been sitting in the back and sniping. This Montana has actually been doing a lot of work. So apologies for that, Mr. Montana. I was just a bit annoyed since I'm struggling for my health with 1k HP and I see a battleship with 60k HP sailing behind me. That thing really tends to trigger me. Anyway, as I was saying regarding the heal and the smoke, I think it's a great addition. In fact, it's one of the best simple balancing moves or changes to gameplay they could have possibly made to any ship. It's not overpowered. In fact, I would argue that the heal is weaker in many cases, but playing with the heal can be a lot of fun because it's non-stop. You never slow down. You go full speed, you just sail around the map 24/7, full speed, full action. You take some damage, you heal up, and you keep going and going and going. In fact, Jingles, as I said, had covered one of my games in the Nahotka, which is basically the Kaba, but I'm running it with a heal. And you can just see what kind of gameplay it is. It's this never stop moving, just non-stop dakka, 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 dakka. And it's pretty hilarious. I mean, you can be punished quite hard with it, but then again, you can be punished quite hard when you sit in the smoke in the ship as well. So, once again, very hard to say which way it goes. One better or the other. I would argue the smoke is better for the team play aspects and saving you from awkward situations. But that doesn't mean that playing with the heal isn't incredibly fun. It's not overpowered though, which is great, and I like seeing changes that significantly change the way a ship is played without making it in any way overpowered. Now I use this Tirpitz as my spotting here, and of course I create distance between him and the Shima because I want to help him kill the Shima as fast as possible, but I also don't want to be the one who gets killed. So Tirpitz spots for me and I use him kind of as a meat shield and I deal the damage from behind him. He should be able to survive that without issues, and he will. This is of course one of the weaknesses of the Cyclone. You never really want to be the first guy in. You want someone else to be spotting for you. And any other DD does just fine in Cyclones, but the Russian DDs suffer by far the worst in Cyclones. People often tend to overlook this part when they talk about how strong Russian DDs are. They are by far the weak. In fact, games can be completely ruined by Cyclones in these ships because it's you are so crippled, completely crippled. At 8 km, any ship can hit you with ease, and they will always spot you, and it just makes the game very, very awkward for the Russian DDs. There's a Montana there. I'm blind firing in there, see if I can prevent the cap. Get some resets for him. This Tirpitz is hopefully not going to die. Once again, I'm gonna use this Montana as kind of as bait. He's spotting the other enemy for me, and as soon as I'm spotted, I pop my smoke and I slow down. Because at this HP it only takes one hit and I instantly die. Luckily he's tunnel visioning the enemy Montana, so I'm able to disappear from vision, and now I can actually be useful thanks to the smoke. In this case, having the heal would be terrible. Well, I mean, I'd have one heal, I'd be able to heal to 5k, but staying alive here with 5k, it's just hoping he doesn't shoot at me at all. So, situational, extremely situational, and I like that, I really like that. I like that it's not a strict one is better than the other, but there are situations where one is superior to the other and vice versa, and that's a great thing. He gives broadside, so of course switch to Stalinium, which easily penetrates T10 battleships because wargaming. Anyway, finish him off, and this game that I thought had so many moments that showed where heal or smoke and vice versa were so useful ended, and I did 206k damage, which I'm quite pleased with considering how many DDs and even potatoing against the carrier. I really think that I'm actually pretty pleased with the results in this one. 2.9k base XP, sadly no Kraken, but you can't get them all. Their enemy combo is actually the top score as well. Oh, wow, I didn't even see him. He must have been fighting on the other side, struggling against their DDs. Damage-wise, of course, only 1.1 million potential damage. And if you compare that to when you run heal, that's usually twice or even triple that number, because you play so differently. Wither, of course, in terms of fire damage, almost no torpedo damage and a shit ton of gun damage. That's pretty much how the usual Kaba games go. If you want to know what build I'm running, I can link my Khabarovsk 0.60 build or a commentary below, so you can find that there. These days I'm actually testing a new build, mostly because I like being able to switch between the heal and the smoke without having to respec my captain. But we'll be returning to that when the release of those Russian DDs becomes more actual and final, one might say. Anyway, that was my Kaba commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed it.